Hi everyone, welcome to Hedgehog Hollow. So today I have a fun one because I'm going to show you how to stretch those supplies, one of my favorites, and we're going to turn any ink pad into alcohol ink. Now, I bet you didn't think you could do that. Well, you can, and I'm going to show you how because it's a really fun technique. It's going to stretch all the supplies you already have because you can use all your existing stamps, all your existing ink pads, any of your alcohol ink mediums. You can use them all using this technique, so I'm excited to share it with you. I think this is life-changing because literally I've just doubled the use of all my supplies instantly. So what you're going to need, I'm going to use, my Misti, and here I have Tim Holtz Wildflowers. These are just nice and solid. They happen to work really well with this technique, but you can use any stamp. It really, really doesn't matter. You're also going to want some alcohol in a spray bottle. So this is isopropyl alcohol. You can buy it in a first aid spray bottle, or I just put them in a Nuvo light mister or a distress mister. And you can see I label it alcohol just so I know. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I want to share with you one of my little secret pieces I pre-made. So if I stamp out on paper with my Wendy Vecchi, and I'm going to find my pretty piece. I'm going to save that surprise for later. So if I stamp out on regular paper and I spray some water, this is what this stamp looks like. So you can see this is kind of our baseline. This is just on regular Nina cardstock. So you get a lovely watercolor effect in there. It looks great, right? Well, what if I wanted to stamp it on Yupo? And I have a piece of Yupo here. And I'm going to stick it down with my sticky grid under there. I'm going to pop this on. And for now, I'm not going to do anything. I'm literally just going to take my Make Art ink pad, and this is in the violet. We're going to take it and we're going to stamp it out. Now remember, Yupo is a non-porous surface, so it doesn't matter really how much I dry this, that dye cannot seep into it, and it's always just going to do that. It's always just going to smudge on me no matter what I do. However, not when I turn my ink into alcohol ink. Because if I turn this over, and don't worry about the mess, and I re-ink my stamp, and I spritz it very lightly with some isopropyl alcohol, all of a sudden I get all of that kind of fun bleeding that you normally get with alcohol inks, but I've used my dye ink. All I've done is mixed in a little bit of alcohol, and you can see that gorgeous watermarking. You can see those edges on there. You know, all those things. If you wanted to, you could now paint in some details using your alcohol inks or your alloys and those kinds of things. So lots and lots of fun things you can do with that. I have another one over here that I did as a fun sample. So you can see this one I sprayed a bit more alcohol, so it went a bit more blurry, but look at these effects that you can get. And that's on Yupo. Now remember, normally you can't stamp with alcohol inks. This you can. So you could stamp like this over a really light pastel-y alcohol ink background. It also works on your glossy cardstock. So here is the alcohol ink glossy cardstock from Ranger. And I'm going to pop my sticky grid back underneath. Now there's not a mess there. Okay. And so I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So you can do this with any dye-based ink. So I'm going to take this, a light spritz of alcohol, stamp it down. And there you can see, again, I'm getting all of that beautiful veining and things in there. Let me try and pick this up. It's really well stuck. Just loosen my sticky grid. That's why I was keeping a little tab at the top there. Look how gorgeous that is. Here is another one that I did earlier. So you can see just how you get all of that. It's different to a watercolor effect. And I like it being on glossy because it means we can do all those fun alcohol ink techniques. We can paint over the top. We could spritz this now with alcohol ink, particularly if we do it on the Yupo. And we could get different pooling in it. Like completely different than if I spritzed water on white cardstock. So I just love the versatility, and I love being able to turn what I already have into something new. So the other options you have, see here's some on paper. So this one I did paper and I spritzed it with alcohol. Really not the same as doing it on Yupo. Still a fun technique because it looks kind of blobby, like you've done a more modernist painting. And then this one is paper just regular. So you've got paper, Yupo, no, paper with water, and paper with alcohol. And then we have things like our glossy that just brings out some really beautiful kind of techniques in there. So just remember that you can switch up. But then I had this idea of, well, hang on, Oxides work on black, and Ranger launched that beautiful black cardstock to work with alcohol inks. Does it work? Yes, it does. I was so excited. So if you take that alcohol ink paper with your Oxides, you can get it to work because of the pigment in it. This is how it's going to look, really pretty. Just a solid spray image. So that's how it comes out. And I'm going to do one for you in a second. However, if you do Oxide with water, you can get this effect on that black cardstock. Just heat dry it and you end up with this gorgeous effect. Also, I can do Oxide with alcohol and I get even more of those like tendrils and all of that in there. And then could you imagine adding some alloys or some metallic mixatives into this as well, or some of our pearlescent alcohol inks around it. So you look at these effects and it is so easy to do. I'm going to show you. So all you're going to do is take this, I'm going to clean off my stamp just with a little bit of water. There we go. And put the lid back on my violet. And so I'm going to take some Distress Oxide, and this is a bit different of course because it's a pigment dye fusion. So I'm just going to ink up my stamp as normal, but then I'm going to spritz it with the alcohol. And that reaction just suddenly turns it into an alcohol ink-like piece. So now look at all of that. You can see all those like little droplets in there, how we're getting all those little tendrils. And of course you can continue to spray and get extra effect because it'll keep reacting as well. But it's still going to pop on your black because of that pigment dye fusion in it. Now I tried some other pigment inks. It worked, but not quite as well as the Distress because I think that bit of dye in it really, really helps kind of bring out this fun effect in it too. So I hope you have enjoyed this quick tip, but isn't it amazing that we can suddenly take what we already have and turn it into so many other things. So if you love this tip as much as I do, be sure to hit subscribe, ring the bell, because I have a daily tip trick tutorial. Well, sometimes a little bit different. Of course, hit that thumbs up. And then if you hit join, you get a birthday card, you get extra coupon code, you get to be part of our community, all sorts of fun things. So I hope you'll hit that join button as well and join us in the Hedgehog Hollow community. Thank you again for joining us. I'll see you again tomorrow. In the meantime, happy crafting and have a great day. I'll see you then. Bye.